Hey YouTube, Brian LCS. Thanks for stopping by the channel and this video, Dark Web Finale Review. So we're going to wrap up this amazing Spider-Man event with this final book. So if you have not read the story or don't want to be spoiled, please tune away. We will definitely be spoiling and going into details of the full story. So let's jump in. So we start off with Limbo. So this has been kind of the focus of the story over this event. Madeline Pryor and Ben Reilly, Chasm, have built a plan and using some of the demons from Limbo to try and get Ben Reilly's memories back from Spider-Man Peter Parker. And so in the last issue, we saw Chasm and Hallows' Eve kind of take control of Limbo. And that's kind of where we pick up. Zeb Wells is writing, and we have actually multiple artists on this book. And then they kind of, I haven't seen this before, they kind of give you the cast of characters who have been involved in the story. It has, there's been a bunch of crossovers, Miss Marvel, Gold Goblin, Venom, and so lots of different characters involved. And so where we pick up is basically we have two teams being formed. We have Hallows' Eve and Chasm and the demons from Limbo against the X-Men, Madeline Pryor, and Spider-Man. And we also have Rec Rap and Jay Jonah and Robbie Robertson, all in, and they're basically this back and forth with Madeline and Spider-Man basically saying, I want to go, who's going to take Ben out? And they agree that they just need to work together. And so we see Chasm and Hallows' Eve, Insidious 6, and all of the demons from Limbo. We're basically setting up for, a big battle between the two various teams. We see all of the X-Men who have been involved, and basically, there's this, us against them, this big battle. And that's mainly most of the issue, is, this struggle between the two different, teams here. And what we saw in last issue, Madeline Pryor, last issue of Venom, Madeline Pryor has recruited Eddie Brock as Bedlam, and he's got like a chainsaw arm, and so he's on the team, and he's basically, kicking some butt here. As we can see, he's taking it to some of the demons from Limbo. And so Spider-Man and Rec Rap basically take on Chasm and Hallows' Eve kind of head on. And we see one of the masks that Hallows' Eve wears, a werewolf, and she takes on Rep Rec as Spider-Man Peter Parker faces off against Chasm. And then we see some of the other X-Men dealing with some of the Insidious 6. So again, like I said, there's just this lot of different action, fights going on, and that, trying to see who's going to get the upper hand. We see, like I said, you see all of the X-Men here. You see Iceman and everybody joining in the team. And there's this, like I said, this constant battle that's going on. And so there's not really much happening, story-wise, dialogue-wise. We just kind of see the different, team members, facing off. And so Hallows' Eve changes to her, Frankenstein persona and is taking on Rep Rack. We see Ben and Peter squaring off, and Ben, Chasm, really kind of getting the better of Spider-Man, Peter Parker. But then we see Gold Goblin, Norman Osborn, and Miss Marvel come in to the rescue to kind of help. And so it's kind of everybody that's been involved in the story is kind of, involved now. And so Madeline Pryor kind of sees, what's going on, that it's not going well for her team. And then we get this really nice, splash page here And she's like, that's enough. Look, the queen, the queen has returned, and she's trying to take her claim back on Limbo. And again, we see, more battling going on between the two different teams. I mean, then ultimately we get a few people, some of the X-Men, Cyclops, and that team up against Chasm and basically take him down. And, we see, the battle continue, and ultimately, Chasm is defeated, and Madeline Pryor, right there, she takes back, control with the, I think it's the Sith of Sorrows, or yeah, I think it's the Sith of Sorrows, to reclaim, her stake of being the Queen of Limbo. And so, we kind of wrap up, and Madeline has a plan to deal with, with Chasm. And so then we fast forward to springtime, and we see Ben in a, like it looks like a nice place. And Spider-Man, Peter Parker's there trying to talk to him and reconcile with him and try to help him through this. And, he's basically saying, I want to help you, even if they've got you trapped in this place, but give me something, let me know that there's still some Ben Reilly in there. And then we see it time's up, and we see that, Chasm is basically being held in Limbo, but in a, kind of different version of Limbo. And that, assuming that Peter Parker, Spider-Man, is visiting him every so often to try to, help him, Madeline Pryor is keeping an eye on him and basically keeping, Chasm locked up, being a prisoner now of Limbo. We see some dialogue with Madeline Pryor and the X-Men, and basically saying that they don't want to hide, that Madeline Pryor doesn't want to hide Limbo in the shadows anymore, and that she wants to, kind of bring some of these, broken people out into the light. And then we see, and she says, no more hiding. And then we see a new, so this was kind of the castle that was built out of Limbo when Chasm took over. We saw this last issue, but we see that it's in the middle of New York City, kind of in the skyline. We see people walking there, and then we see Limbo Embassy to New York City. So, and actually one of the little mailboxes is talking, got an email, kind of a little joke back to the demons that were taking over New York City and inhabiting and causing issues in New York City. So, but that's it. That's how we wrap up. And so there was a little note about Hallows Eve and Rep Rack being lost, that they have gone somewhere. So we have not seen the last of them. I think they'll come back. Obviously, I think Hallows Eve is getting her own series or limited series. So she certainly will be back. And, I'm sure we'll see Rep Rack again at some point. We don't know. They're basically missing, in the battle, the final battle, they went missing, and Chasm was captured and being held, as a captive in Limbo, but with the hopes that Madeline Pryor and maybe even Spider-Man can help, redeem him. So that's it. That wraps up the big dark web finale. Overall, I thought it was just okay. I thought it was too spread out across too many different issues. I really enjoyed the Madeline Pryor storyline. I thought that was well done within the X-Men books, and how she was given back her memories and redeemed, and, feels whole again, where, Ben Reilly, Chasm did not get his memories back, but, his plan was for, to steal them basically from Peter Parker, and then basically destroy him. And so a little bit of a different approach between Madeline Pryor and Ben. So that's why he's captive and she's not. So, but overall, like I said, middle of the road. If I'm going to give out, my review system, 5 webheads being the best, 1 being, I'm going to go right in the middle again, 2.5 webheads for this book, or for this event, I should say. Overall, like I said, not that great, not that bad, just really somewhere in the middle. And it looks like we'll have 2 new characters out of this, Hallows Eve and Reprack. Where they will go, only time will tell. And, time will tell what will happen with, Ben Reilly and Chasm. So I'm sure there'll be more books in Marvel's future. So be on the lookout for that. But I hope you enjoyed this series. And we'll get back to our normally, ASM, Amazing Spider-Man reviews now that we're done with this event. So thanks for watching. Let me know what you thought down below in the comments. What did you think of the event? I've heard mixed reviews. Some people really liked it. Some people thought it was terrible. And like me, somewhere in the middle. So let me know. Drop me a comment down below if you've been reading this, what you think of the, the overall event, the outcome, and what about these new characters, Hallows Eve and Reprack. But thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.